Welcome to Attican Plays Railway Empire. All right, welcome. This is Attican, and we're going to do a quick update on version 1.4 that just came out today, released to our general population, so to speak. And it came out along with the Viva Mexico DLC, and we'll talk about that DLC in a separate video, or videos, as we're going to play it some. But I wanted to cover 1.4 and wanted to do a better job than I did with 1.3. So I'm actually going to go here to the source, and we're going to look at, this is the information that's on Steam, and walk through this quickly, and then we're going to open up the game and play with the new switches and stuff that we have a little bit and see if we can figure that out. So first thing they have here is this thing called a legacy branch. Now this doesn't have much to do for me. I really don't care. But if you're one of those people who saves your games and you like to go back to them and keep adding on, maybe building this giant map with, dozens and dozens of connections and all kinds of stuff, and you want to keep going back to it from time to time, then you're probably going to be interested in the legacy branch. For me, if a save doesn't work, that's okay with me, because frankly, to me, the start of the game is the most fun, so I would tend to just start over. And the legacy branch is basically there to allow you to run an older version of the code that matches your save games. That's kind of the bottom line with that. So let's talk about this. This is something everybody's wanted. Lots of people gripe because the AI opponents run on that kind of what they call normal mode. They used to call it easy, because that's what it is, easy mode, where the trains can pass through each other and you don't have to have switches or anything. And right now they've kind of redone that, and now the AI and the player can build what they call realistic, which means that you have to have switches, and trains will stop and rather than going through each other. So you have to build a more realistic rail line. And that's the way, of course, we play always. But now if you select realistic, the player, you will be having realistic lines, and so will the AI. The AI will also build realistic lines, and he'll build double track, and he'll build switches and all that kind of stuff. In fact, here it says the AI usually builds 2 parallel tracks, one for each direction, and they'll make use of signals and crossings. So, but they kind of give you a little hint down here. So basically, let's go back here. We've got realistic, where they both play it. We've got normal, where we both use the super easy system where they go through each other. And then we have normal AI. This is now a third option. And that means that we're going to be realistic, but the AI is going to use in other words, it's going to work the way it does but prior to this release. Will be realistic track. AI will use the easy track, the pass-through track. And what it tells you here is if you're looking for the greatest challenge, use the normal AI setting and your very hard difficulty. And what that's telling me is that when the AI opponents have to use both track, they aren't as good. Now, I don't think it means that they necessarily can't handle building the track. I think it just means, obviously, it's more expensive when you have to. If you double all your track, that's twice the track expense that you had. And so, the greatest challenge would be to leave everything really the way it is now, and let the AI be normal and you as a player be realistic. And that's probably the way I would play. I'm sure we can go out and play a little with the realistic just to see what they do. Now, they do have a bunch of new crossings, and this is where I want to go open up the game and play a little bit and see what we've got. The X crossing that everybody wants, where the track can cross right across, right there in a single spot. You use those in front of stations a lot. And there's the nice merge. It has a nice merge. I've actually played with that one a little bit, and it works pretty nicely. And then they also, of course, fixed some issues. So they had some issues with the random maps. They fixed that, but that also is the reason you have to go back to that legacy, perhaps, to get some of your old map saves to work. They've got an undo button on the setup rail line options. That's kind of nice, because I don't know how many times I've accidentally done something I really didn't want to do. We'll play with that maybe. Track utilization to the edit station, so you can look at your station and see how the track's being utilized. and then snap into a parallel position at the end of existing tracks. The end of existing tracks. We'll have to see what that means. Okay, so that's the whole list. So let's go now and open up the game and see what we've got. Okay, the first thing we see is our picture now has that same old Western town out here, but now the wallpaper has these Incan, or no, not Incan, excuse me, Aztec pyramids here. Is that right? Yes, Aztec pyramids. So basically, we're in Mexico here, and we could be, El Paso and someplace in Mexico or whatever. Okay, so this shows up in two things. It won't not show up on the campaign at all, of course, but there is a scenario that they've added, and we're going to go play that in a minute, this Mexico scenario. So looking forward to playing that. And in free mode, you also have the option of going down to Mexico. And you can play in all the different time periods, 1830s, the whole 100 years, 1850s, 70s, etc. So we still have a random map, of course, and then all the different free modes that we have in the U.S. And I'm pretty sure this also is in sandbox. Yeah, you could also go sandbox mode and play in Mexico. So let us, oh no, this is supposed to be 1.4. So let's go into free mode. Shoot, let's do 1830 and whoops, that's the wrong place. I'm laughing because I want to go back to my usual place. Where is it? In the east. Yeah. Let's go to Toledo. Toledo and Grand Rapids, my favorite place. And let's give ourselves plenty of money because we're just playing. Okay. So let's see if we can't make some of these intersections and figure them out. All right, so let's start with our usual Toledo to Grand Rapids line, and let's start with our usual, why not? Let's just do our large station in each of them. And in fact, so that we can see how it works, let's do a double track, not with the point-to-point, but with the two connections down here at the platforms. And see if we can't get an X or a diamond crossing or an X crossing or whatever you call it. See if that's doable. So now we've got two parallel tracks. Let's go like that. Oh yeah, and if we put our cursor right on that little cone there and move it right to that little cone right there, bingo, look at that. Isn't that nice? Beautiful. It makes a nice little diamond crossing or X crossing, whatever you want to call it. We can set our directional signals, and we can drive like we're drunk over here to the other end. No, I'm out of practice. Sorry, guys. Okay, let's do the same thing over here. We're going to grab a spot and go over to the other side. We're going to go on that little marked cone and over to the other one like so and accept it, and we get the beautiful, very nice, very, very nice. Well done, developers. Very nice. Okay. So now we avoid our one little workaround. We can also do it a little tighter to the station. I think it looks really good. I don't think it's a big deal one way or the other. But that's a nice looking little diamond there, or crossing. Very nice. Okay, the next one is how do we merge? So let's just take let's take our logs here. Now this is different. I actually played with this for a minute. So this one, remember we used to come down, kiss, merge with your first line, accept it, come over, accept that, and then build our other merge. Now it's different. Now we come down and go to the outside line. See how it'll let us go to the outside? You couldn't do that before. So now we're going to go to the outside line, accept that, and it's going to give us a little cone. We get over that cone and click, and then go back this way, and look what it gives us. Let's accept that. And looky here, we've got this beautiful little merge of these two lines coming in, and they come in this nice tight space. So that is lovely. We can make sure we check our signals like we always would, and we would finish out our line, of course. Whoops. I'm doing that wrong, sorry. I'm out of practice. Okay, here we go. So there we go. We would set our signals for this guy, of course. Okay, all the directions look good. Look how good the directions are all working correctly. We would run this guy like so, put in some interim if they'll fit. They won't. Beautiful. Or we could put in some of our little Jan Jansen signals. There we go. The tight ones. All right. So beautiful. So we've got our little diamond crossing at the station. We've got a really nice compact merge here. It looks really good. And let's do the last one, I think, is the ability to cross. So supposedly we can take a line, and let's just what am I going to do here? Let's just run out of this one. It doesn't matter. Let's run over this way and say we're coming down like this. And we had, for whatever reason, we want to cross this right here. And it's giving us a bridge. Now this one I don't know how to do yet, so let's figure this out. If I click on it, no, obviously that wasn't it. Huh. If I accept that, I get a bridge. So that isn't right. All right, how do we do this? Ooh, did that work? Well, you look at that. You just flatten it out. You have the bridge and then you flatten it out, and look at that. We have lines that are crossing each other. Beautiful. And I will tell you this much, any of you who are new to any kind of railroads or track or anything, you got to be cognizant of the fact now that you've got blocks in here. You want to make sure that you set your signals. You want to make sure there's a signal here and here and really here and here, and whichever way this is going to go. Let's just say it's going to go from our right to our left like that. You want to make sure that you define that little area, cut that off from everybody else so that it is a block, because otherwise you're going to have any kind of traffic that's in here is going to make the blocks that are out here appear to have traffic in them, and you're going to get traffic jams. But isn't that lovely? Isn't that lovely? So now we can cross lines, and let's try that one more time. Make sure we have that. So let's just go out here and start another one next to it, and let's go across like this. And at first it's going to give us a bridge. But if we just take this and flatten it out, what doesn't it like? I think we're too close. Let's make sure we've got this part right. Now, if we want to cross across this guy, we build a line like so until we get a valid bridge, and then we just simply flatten it out. And when we get right over the track itself, it flattens out. It becomes a no bridge, if you will, and voila, a crossing. Beautiful. All right, so now we've got our little diamonds, or X, whatever you want to call it. We've got these nicer merges, cleaner merges, and we've got the ability to cross the track and run trains backwards and forwards. Beautiful. All right, I think that's enough for version 1.4 update. I love these changes. It looks like they've done a great job. Well, I guess we should, if we wanted to be really diligent about this, let's just make sure everything works. So we've got our lines running. Now we've got this one where we put our signals in and this one where we didn't. So let's just see what happens. Let's just see what happens here. In fact, just to make this go somewhere, we'll have this one run in there. I know that's a ridiculous design, but that's okay. And we better hook it up here. Okay, so let's say that we had trains running like our usual stuff, like we had Toledo to Grand Rapids, and our beloved little grasshoppers, and Grand Rapids to Toledo. Let's get some traffic going so we can have some nice traffic jams. Okay, so now we've got 6 trains running back and forth. And let's run a line from here to here to test that merge. And let's run a line from here to here, where we don't even need to be full, and test that merge. And let's see what happens here. We got people going, we got people going. Okay, this all seems to be working. This seems to be working. Aha, look at this. Okay, pause for a second. All right. This guy can't go because this part of the track is busy. So let's go in now and put our signal in and say you can go let's put signals in like that, and let's see if this guy here moves after we do that. And there he goes, sure enough. So now he is moving. All right, and this is working. He stopped. I don't like that. Is he going to go? Are you going to take your turn? The crosses are working. This one I don't like. Let's see if we've got something messed up here. We may need to put a signal like that. Yep, that's what it was. I think this guy coming down, because there was somebody in this line going back, he wouldn't move. Now, why is this guy not moving? He's waiting. Did I forget my signals down here? Yeah, maybe that would help. That would help a whole lot. Okay, there we go. So let's see how we're doing here. It looks like everything is working just as it should. See that train? See these two trains stopped, and that train went across. Beautiful. He's going back up to get some more logs. All our trains between the cities are working. By golly, I think they've done it. All right, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it helps you. Keep in mind that little thing with the crossing. Build it like it's a bridge, and then flatten the bridge like you would any piece of track out there until you see it hit the ground, so to speak, and then you know you're good. See that one stop, and this one went by. This guy's stopping because it's not clear up there, but he's cool otherwise. Beautiful. I think we have a winner. So good job, developers. I hope you guys enjoy this. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it'll help you become a better player, and I hope you'll join us for our next Railway Empire video. Thank you.